Trucker Rod and S.E.E. And we are here today in Dallas, Texas. Yep, AT&T Stadium. I was meaning to get down here the last trip. The wife is doing well. She had her surgery yesterday. All the implantation with the wires through her head and the transmitter down here. Everything's good. No problems. Surgery went textbook. It was just over 2 hours. So she is resting and recovering very well back up in Denton. This was a 45-minute drive down here. I wanted to take that drive. Traffic was just a little off with construction. Got here early enough. So get you turned around here, the pan around. But I parked over there. This place is big. Now, I've only been to 2 other stadiums. Baltimore Ravens, which I'm more of a Ravens fan. But my daughter got married in the Ravens Stadium, M&T Stadium there. There is some hotels. And right there is the Texas Ranger Stadium behind us going to the east. And over here on that side is the stadium for the Dallas Mavericks. So everything is consolidated. The other stadium I've been into is Ford Field when the Ravens played the Lions. I went to 2 games there where the Ravens beat the Lions at Ford Field. So I'm not a Lions fan, never have, nor will I. So, but I really haven't followed sports in 8 or 10 years now. But we're gonna walk around the stadium. Something kind of poked at me in a way that made me think, and then I said, you know, this is a good subject to speak on, and that is we are as we were sitting in the hotel room watching TV. We had Monday, it rained on and off. Sunday was nice. Yesterday, thunderstorms came in heavy. Today, beautiful. So I took the opportunity to get out of the hotel and travel. But watching TV, which I don't do, and I just noticed the commercials. The programming is, you would say, as they've always have said, you know, what's the programming for tonight? Programming your mind. And conspiracy theory or not, go with this. And that is, as I am watching this ridiculousness and crappy shows and what have you, just bored out of my tree, I actually went down to the lobby for an hour and just sat down there and just stared out the window while it was raining. But things they program or instill in you, it's like this constant. The Nazis did this to the Jews in the camps, is just keep loud stuff going on to program them to believe in something. And they're doing that with the commercials. So we live in a debt-based society here in America, and that is the Keynesian debt-based banking, money lending, and that is banks run this country. Politicians have nothing to do with this shit. Get over that stuff right now. That's why I don't watch CNN, Fox, CNBC, any of that crap. Smoke and mirrors, and it's just a turd show to even watch any of that. So it's a circus. But back to, they want to program you in this debt-based society, and it's the evolving thing. Pharmaceuticals have bought up so much commercials, so much time on the air to push their pills. What comes before and after that commercial? Soda pops, chips, junk food. So take Ozempic, take this pill for your diabetes, your weight loss. On the next commercial, they're telling you, eat this crap, have fun with this, go out, have fun, eat your Doritos, drink your Mountain Dew, eat this crap. And then what's the third commercial? Well, by golly, here you go. You got a Capital One, you got a Chime Card, you got Bank of America, you've got all these people pushing credit cards. So buy into more credit, because the banks can't run, or banks run this country, and they can't do business unless you are leveraging yourself to be a debt slave by taking out debt against the bank. The bank expands money by, they don't print money anymore. They expand it by loaning it to you. Mortgages, cars, credit cards, what have you, personal loans. So that's how money is created. And when you pay that loan off, that's how money is destroyed. Well, people are going, the society's constricting. People, all-time high jobs are layoffs are happening, mainly in the white-collar sector. FedEx just announced another 2,000 job layoffs. They didn't say in what sector yet, but 2,000 more in the logistics industry. So our society is contracting, and hugely. So where's all the jobs coming from? GDP, government spending, government jobs. That's it, that's all. Nothing else in the private sector. So with that debt-based society expanding the money, credit card debt is at its all-time high at what, 1.3, 1.4 trillion dollars of credit card debt, and defaults on credit cards are at the all-time high also. So you can find all these numbers. Go to the Fed, but you can look at the Federal Reserve data reports. It's there. I'm going to turn you guys around to see where I am going to take some of this in. So we're at the main entrance here. Stadium up there. So the banks need to make money by issuing debt. That way, now you're on the hook to pay the bank back their money with interest. They make the money on the interest. You're late, you're what have you. They also make it on fees for issuing the debt and stuff like that. That's why you always want to find out when you pay a loan off, car or a house loan, a big ticket item, is there fees ensued in that if you pay it off early. So the bank makes more money on you that way. So I'm watching all this programming, and it's just the same resignation of eat garbage food, take your pills, and create more and take more debt out, because our society is collapsing and they're pushing this crap like crazy. The other thing was, travel agencies and that, hey, take a trip, spend your money. You got extra money, you got stimulus, whatever. You got a credit card that's fresh, need to be spent on, take a trip. And it's crazy, but I have just looked at this by, how do I want to say, since October of 21, the red pill, if you'd want to say even. Maybe I'll get dinged for saying that. But I don't care. Because overall, you have to be the steward of your budget, your income, and your debt going out. And you can't just say the government will clean this up. The government will take care of me. Stop thinking that way. The government will never take care of you. They don't care about you. Live with that. And if you can't, get some chalk, get on a sidewalk, draw a chalk circle, get your safe blanket, suck your thumb, and be on this sidewalk to feel like you have a safe space, because that's where you're going to be at. You have to face reality. You cannot continue to keep buying big ticket items. You need to get out of debt. That's why the one thing about Dave Ramsey, he's a great spending therapist. Horrible financial guru, but a great spending therapist. Get out of debt. When he says that, is get off from the bank's dole. Get off their back and get yourself financial freedom. That way you can dictate and call your own shots. Don't let the bank, because then once you're a debt slave, and when the bank owns you, what are you dedicated to do? You get up and you grind hard every day working, going to your W-2 job because you're a debt slave to the bank. I've got, how do I want to say, a plan that is going to get me completely out of debt by this time next year. And just checking this out, see if I can walk through here or not. But we're just gonna walk from a distance. But the big thing is getting yourself out of debt, staying unleveraged from the bank. And also I've set up investments to where I can hedge my capital that I grow over time. I can get that capital growing, and if I need to borrow from it, it'll be tax-free. There's ways of doing things. You have to know every facet of how to invest your money, where to invest your money, and how the tax system works, and how you can leverage yourself to be less taxed or minimize your taxes as you are building capital. So the guys are out here spraying the cracks with weeds growing through them. So a lot of maintenance going on outside today, probably from the last couple days of rain. But the thing of it is people just buy into this. You know, see your doctor. And I was laughing at these commercials, going back to the commercials on the pharmaceutical side. I was laughing at these and telling my wife, I said, you know, here's about 3 things it'll do for you. And then the rest of the commercial, you know, say 80% of it, 90% of it is all about what the side effects are, and consult your doctor about it. Folks, take control of your life, take control of your health. Quit buying this convenience store chips and dip and pop and crap, and start eating healthy. The perimeter on a grocery store, the outside of it, is all your fresh foods, vegetables, dairy, meats. The core, the aisles within that grocery store, is all your processed foods. And you're like, all right, you know, processed foods, your instant quick box foods, canned foods and stuff like that, that's, you know, ready to be heat up, made. Let's spin you around and give you a brief. Trying to find. Something happened there. And we're still going. Here we are. All right. Here's the thing about foods. When you look at people on the beach, people vacationing, all the brochures and advertisements from the 50s and 60s, you're like, man, people were thin. There wasn't the obesity epidemic. Diabetes wasn't a problem. Weight loss centers was not a freaking problem. Why is that? Because when Nixon took us off the gold standard in 71, the government knew food was going to go up, because once they took us off the gold standard, which was 40% of our dollar had to be tied to the gold, and the other 60% was to assets and other things. But they knew when they took us off the gold, they wanted to expand money to the moon, and they were limited to how much they could expand the money according to how much gold they had in reserves, like Fort Knox. So when they took us off the gold standard, the money, they knew the money expansion, they could print money to the moon and expand it and print, because they owned the printer and they were the world reserve currency. With that, they knew, and they stated, they knew food prices were going to inflate and soar sky high. So what did that tell then? That told manufacturers, and if you look, your artificial sweeteners like high fructose corn syrup came into effect in the mid-70s. that went into your pot. So regular healthy ingredients got pulled out, and cheap chemical fillers like sweeteners and other chemical made stuff that could be put in its place, and coatings on your cereal and that's why that way they could drop the price but still keep their margins, because at the end of the day, the NGOs, the non-government officials, your billionaires, your corporations run this country, not the politicians. The politicians are bought and paid for by lobbyists for the NGOs. So let's just get all that straight right now. So to keep food prices down, they had to put artificial ingredients, chemicals. If it has more than 4 syllables, it's a chemical, it's crap. That way, you've got to always have fresh food, healthy food. And you need to, instead of buying into trips, into frivolous things, as turn you guys around again, but spend your money on things you need: food, shelter, clothes. And clothes could be anywhere from garage sales, the Goodwill, to Walmart. You don't need to go to high-end places. The days of shopping at a mall, going to Macy's, yes, that is behind us now. You don't need brand name clothes to make yourself somebody. What you need is water, food, shelter, and clothes. That's it. That's all a human being needs. All the other stuff is just what the society that we live in programs us to think. If you want to be more than the average guy on the block, buy this car, get this big house, get this big platinum credit card. But they buy a story and they sell it in marketing. And if you sit there and stare at it over and over, you're like, well, it's what everyone else is doing it. Why don't I do it? Well, if they're all jumping off the cliff and into the meat grinder, are you going to do it too? Or are you going to say, whoa, common sense says shouldn't do that. Injury and death is going to ensue here. So you have to be very conscious about what you do with your money and how you set your household budget up. So that way you're always winning. You're always ahead. Start a business. That's why I started my businesses. And I'm going to blow them up by the end of this year. And we're going to be going farther. And them businesses are going to grow because it's going to be my free time to put into them. And that is going to leverage us to bigger and better things later on. So I am not, for the last, 3 years or so, I've been not a proponent to buying into the marketing, the schemes, and all that jazz. You have to be diligent. You have to know things. You have to do your legwork. You have to educate yourself. Because once you're in the know and you know what is going on, we are on the south side of the AT&T Stadium right now. So the pro shop's on the north side. But you have to be very diligent on what you're doing with yourself and the money you make. And just taking a pause to make sure I'm watching for traffic crossing the road here. I don't know how far I can circle around before I got to go out on the main street. But that's the one thing I noticed watching TV, and I'm like, good God, there's no way I could sit here and watch this idiocy going on. Because all they're doing is preying on your ignorance. They're preying on the American ignorance of you're going to buy into pharmaceuticals. You're going to listen to your doctor. I question the shit out of the doctors around my wife. They don't like me for it, but damn it, I will quiz the living bejesus out of them. And you have to. And if you don't know something, you know what? There's the power of the internet. By all means, understand what's going on with that power of the internet and use it to further yourself, your education, your knowledge. Because what will you become if you don't apply yourself? Are you just going to follow what the government tells you to do day in and day out? Are you just going to follow what your family, friends, neighbors do because that's what they're doing? You've got the free will and the freedom to think for yourself, to do for yourself, and to, I want to say, advance yourself where you want to go. There was something I had heard the other day, and I said, that makes all the sense in the world. And this person was doing a job, and they're doing a job they don't like doing, but it's just like a temporary stop of doing this job until they get to do something else. And it was, we do what we do until we can do what we want to do. So basically, you just do what you have to do now until you get yourself leveraged to do what you want to do later. And that's the key thing. So educate and push yourself to always be knowledgeable and smart on that. So I don't know if I can go through this gate or not. But that's my spiel. That's my rant. And I just want you folks to understand is you got to wake up and realize this. You have to be diligent in knowing what and to know things. That way you can have that conversation with your doctor, with your financial advisor that's investing your money, or your banker, or your mortgage lender, or your real estate agent. But just know things. And if you don't know it, and you're sitting there, and they're talking jargon that doesn't make any sense to you, then go and learn it so you can come back and have that conversation. But don't let them pull something over top of your head to where you get taken advantage of. So I'm just going to finish out. We have covered half of the stadium. I don't know if I can get out that way or down this way. They're setting tents up. So I would imagine it's June. So nothing's really popped off yet. I may have to go back through that gate I just came through. So I think this is where like they got all these tents set up, but kind of like where they would have little games, or maybe the commentators for TV come out and do stuff. So am I all right being here?
I'm trying to figure out, I need to figure out who you are.
Oh, just walking through doing a live stream, man. Do you want me to step back out?
I need you out the fence, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. So, yeah, I was wondering about that. So, anywho, they were all looking at me over there in the shade. Oh, let's see. And this rail system, that's part of their trolley to pull the roof down and open it up. I was looking at that on the other side. So, but so we could say we got kicked out of the stadium, but they're doing grounds work and setting things up. So I had a hunch I had to come down and go around out to the street. So that was cool. I got that far in. No harm, no foul. Didn't bring my ID with me either. So shoot, it's over at the car. But anyhow, folks, that was my rant. So yeah, we made it back out the gate. Like I said, we're on the south side. Maybe keep you guys going. I can't really see the screen that well. The lighting is horrible on it. I tried to get my GoPro to connect. It would not. Hotspot won't work. Tethering to my phone or my GoPro. So too bad I didn't have some kind of official badge or something. But they probably would have called me in anyways, up to the front office. Yeah, looks like we can just go down through here. I'm actually just going to walk around the stadium, finish out the walk. And it was 90 when I got here. I want to say it's low 90s. So, without the humidity. So, there's really very little humidity compared to being up in Michigan when it's 90 degrees and that humidity is really ramped up. It adds insult to injury, especially for comfort and breathing. The humidity can suffocate you too. Florida is the same way. I always tell people they're thinking here in June and July must be cold in Michigan right now. I said, not at all. I said, have you been to Florida in the summer? And they said, yeah. And I said, same weather, same thing. They just have the Gulf and the Atlantic around them. We have the Great Lakes. So that adds to the humidity all summer long. All the steam and that evaporating off the Great Lakes just in the lower mitten of Michigan, just encapsulated into that surrounding the Great Lakes. Michigan, Huron, Superior, Erie's more northern Ohio. But if you got a comment, I'll go back and see if there's any. I will try to respond to it after I get stopped. But I can't really see anything. The screen's kind of dark mirrored out. Just gonna take the long way around. Yeah, we were down in there when they turned us around. So obviously we can't be on that side of the fence. But there's that's where I was standing. Right up there when he kicked me out by that light truck, that blue truck. Yeah, so it looked like a little football field for maybe commentators to use, or maybe do some giveaways and stuff like that. So as you can see up there, there's the rails and there's the roof there, but that just comes down into that truss system, steel truss. That's what goes all the way up into the building. But that's your railway, and to run the kind of like a roller coaster, but to run your roof open and close, because they have a retractable roof. So it's a two-piece, opens to the east and west, I believe, the way I'm looking at things right now. But parking is over the top. And the other thing too is, right over there, Six Flags is over there, and Six Flags is right when you come off the 30, but you can see the Ranger Stadium and that where the Dallas Mavericks play. So they keep everything here. They call it Wet and Wild Drive or something like that when I got off the exit. But very cool stuff. Just glad to come down here, try to touch on something of a life experience. I got over to the Peterbilt factory. They are a no-go on tours unless I am some big-time streamer of YouTube and have something to do with buying their product and showcasing their product, a dealer, some kind of business into that realm. So I am not of any of those. So they said a no-go. But I could have gotten in there if I knew someone. And it's that time of day where all the notifications start ramping up. Yeah, I forgot to, and I told myself this morning to turn notification sound off. That didn't happen. But it's a big stadium. I would say I definitely got probably a good mile and a half of walk around this thing. But each end, the east and west end, definitely there's pick there of Tom Landry. He was something to be said. He always came out with class, suit, hat, that distinguished gentleman look. Have to really compliment him on that. You know, Bill Belichick, even though he won a bunch of Super Bowls with Tom Brady, he just looked like he rolled out of bed every football game. So it is what it is. They talked about Albert Einstein and how of a mess his desk was. And then when you looked at it, it's like, how could you find anything? But he knew where everything was. But he, some people see it as disorderly. Others are, that's their system. So whatever works. But we're nearly there to the car. Can't believe what did they pack this thing with one time? That it was more than the capacity of it. And I don't know if it was a football game, but if you're watching or see this later, comment down below when they packed the crap. It was like the first year or two they had this open. They packed it for something. No, it wasn't wrestling. Can't recall what it was, but they were nearly packing them on the floor. But I forget how many they can pack in here. I know the Silverdome, I'd been there oodles of times through the 80s, early 90s. And WrestleMania packed it in a record of 101 or 102,000 in that place. So that was insane. But that's it. So we're turning the corner. And there's going to be a lot of people down here a lot of tourists like myself coming in, standing out front, husband and wife, kids, families, getting pictures. But I figured I'd just live stream. So I'm blessed to have that and be able to document this little bit in my life. But the height of this place is just unreal. So everything's bigger in Texas, they say. But that's what they did in the Roman era. When the Roman Empire was collapsing, they fed them, they kept them drunk. And that's the thing too, is when we're watching commercials, it's one thing they want you to do is not know what's going on in society. They want you to drink alcohol, smoke your dope, eat junk food, take your medications from the pharmaceutical companies, and over leverage yourself with more credit card debt. That's what it came down to. And I'm not buying into it. So they didn't get me. I know better than that, and I see through all their propaganda and crap. But if you believe in it, well, that's your you march at your own beat at that direction. I will not. But the pro shops here, I don't know if the pro shop's open. You should be able to get in the pro shop. They had a separate advertisement to go in there and buy like jerseys and hats and other Dallas Cowboys stuff. So I'm going to end it here, folks. I appreciate anybody that's dropped in to watch. Like I said, knowledge is learned, not taught. Stay safe and keep that education. That's what we're talking about today, is continue educating yourself to where you are going to be ahead of the pack on knowing and being able to see through like commercials. Like I said, All the commercials were pushing for was drink your alcohol, smoke your dope, eat junk food, drink the sodas, get more credit card debt, and help the banks, help the pharmaceutical companies, help the alcohol and other companies, tobacco companies, and kill your health. And you're promoting their business model, and you're sinking yours, health and wealth. So until next time, folks, we'll see you soon.